UFC Vegas 43, aka UFC Fight Night, Ketlen Vieira versus Miesha Tate. Welcome to the main card prediction video by yours truly here at Boxingmmapicks. He goes by the name of Zan, I go by the name of Harris, and as usual, we're giving you our fight-by-fight breakdown, fight-by-fight analysis, specifically from the betting perspective, here to let you know which fights are worth the value, which fights you want to avoid, which underdog has the best shot at winning, and stick around to the end of the video. You may get some parlay action as well. Of course, we have come out with our prelim card prediction video already. If you have not taken a look at that, time to press pause here, go ahead and watch that, and then return back to this video. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And we want to hear from you in the comments. More of that to come at the end of the video. This UFC Vegas 43 card, aka UFC Fight Night, Ketlen Vieira versus Miesha Tate, has 12 fights on it in total. 7 of them were on the prelim. Therefore, the last 5, of course, are on the main card. And we're going to get started with fight number 1 of the main card. To open up the main card, we have a pretty good one in Adrian Yanez taking on Davey Grant. Now, I'm going to break this fight down first. I'm going to start with Adrian Yanez. He is on a 7-fight win streak at this point. He beat Randy Costa back in July. One of the more exciting prospects in the UFC right now, of course, pretty good stand-up, good crisp hands, good boxing, good, real quick hands, I should say, instant KO power, good movement, good timing, pure natural style of boxing, has nasty kicks too, good calf kick, good head kick. Although his attack, I would say, is a bit more of a hands-heavy style of attack. Davey Grant lost a unanimous decision to Marlon Vera in June. Switch stance fighter, a lot of calf kicks, a lot of movement, stays really light on his feet. Good regular usage of his jab to set things up as well. Keeps it very diverse on the feet. He's a pretty well-rounded striker in the MMA. He's fallen a bit too much in love with the striking, though. Hasn't really shown his ground game in his last few fights. We see his takedown numbers there, over 2 takedowns per fight, but not something he's shown recently. He has good takedowns. He's a pretty solid grappler as well. Only a purple belt from a credentials perspective, but sometimes has that grappling advantage over his opponent. I think that wrestling/grappling game is going to be an aspect of his game that he's going to need for this fight. I think Yanez, of course, is very dangerous on the feet, regardless of how good Davey Grant's striking has gotten. Yanez has 100% takedown defense on paper. Small sample size, only 3 UFC fights. Might have to see how his defense fares in this fight should Davey Grant go to it. But again, like I said, Grant has fallen a little bit too much in love with the striking. I do expect him to keep it on the feet. I know Yanez will for sure. And I think Yanez is simply better on the feet. So I look at this fight. I think this is going to be a matchup that Yanez likes. It stays on the feet. I think he's better there. I think he gets the job done. I see minus 270, and I don't think that's too steep. Davey Grant, of course, is game. He is live, but I like Adrian Yanez in this spot.
Yeah, I'm going to go quick, man. I'm going to go Adrian Yanez here to get the win. I still believe Davey Grant, as his nickname indicates, is a dangerous guy here. This guy has been showing some serious knockout power, but a lot of those fights, he was fighting guys that didn't have the boxing that Yanez is going to bring to the ring. So I think in this fight here, I don't think Davey Grant's. I think Yanez is going to be able to take advantage of Davey Grant's stakes. I think he's going to eventually knock him out, but I'm just going to take the win here. I think Adrian Yanez, he has some jiu-jitsu. He hasn't shown it yet, but I think in this fight it's going to be mostly standing, and I think Yanez times a perfect counter and gets him. So I'm going to go Adrian Yanez here to get the win.
Fight number 2, we have Joanne Wood, formerly known as Joanne Calderwood, taking on Taila Santos. For Joanne Wood, she lost the split decision to Lauren Murphy back in June. Muay Thai kickboxing style, I should say, very evident in her style of stand-up. She throws both hands and feet, has a pretty good Thai clinch. She strikes first pretty often, strikes in combinations, pretty leg-heavy approach as well. But she is a bit more of a technical point fighter type of style. Again, as opposed to bull rushing her opponents. She does do things like push kicks, spinning back fists. She can mix it up really well. But in general, she's more of that technical point type of fighter who wants to be in a technical point type of matchup. Taila Santos, I don't think she's going to give her that necessarily. She's on a 3-fight win streak. She beat Roxanne Modafferi back in September. That was via unanimous decision. That fight showed me a lot in terms of potential question marks that I had for Taila Santos, mainly her cardio, but it did hold up in that fight. She throws a lot into her shots. She has good stand-up, good boxing, good kickboxing, good Muay Thai, good stiff jab, good hooking combinations as well. Very powerful knees to the body, strong Thai clinch. She has good takedowns. We see she lands over 2.5 per fight. Pretty good on top, good takedown defense as well. And again, like I said, although she does slow down a little bit in the later stages of the fight, after that Modafferi fight, I think I'm pretty satisfied with her cardio. I don't think she necessarily has a cardio issue. And I'll keep it short. I like Taila Santos a lot in this fight. I think Joanne Wood, she kind of stands in your face in a true Muay Thai style. Not much head movement. She kind of stays right in front of you. I think Taila Santos can hurt her there. I also think Santos has a big ground advantage. We saw what Lauren Murphy was able to do to Joanne Wood in their last fight. I think Taila Santos will be able to do the exact same thing. So better on the ground, or at least more advantageous on the ground, more dangerous on the feet. I like Taila Santos in this one. I think she is a legitimate contender and somebody who could be 2 fights away from a shot at Valentina.
Okay. Yeah, I like Taila. I just think she's I think it's going to come down to, we already know that she might be the better striker. She's definitely the better wrestler, better grappler. And I think the thing that is going to take Taila to the W here is that she's just physically stronger. Look at that picture right there. She's just going to be able to grip her, grab her, take her down, she basically grabs you as like a Greco-Roman, as like it's Greco-Roman wrestling. She doesn't go for the legs. She grabs your waist and then she takes you down. And I think she's going to have that all day here against Miss Wood here. So I'm going to go Taila Santos here. I think the big thing is going to be the strength. And then Talia's very smart, so she's going to find success there, and she's going to keep going back to the well. So I'm going to go Taila Santos, utilize that grappling, utilize the strength, and get a pretty easy win here. So I'm going to Taila Santos, my pick.
Fight number 3, we have Rani Yahya taking on Kyung Kang. This is a fight that was supposed to happen back in July. I think we actually reviewed that fight, if I'm not mistaken, at the time. So I'm going to pretty much keep my notes the exact same here. For Kang, he's on a 3-fight win streak. However, he hasn't really fought since December 2019. Good movement, good footwork, good hands, decent jab, pretty dynamic on the feet in general. Good level changes and takedowns as well. Has pretty good top control. 2.5 takedowns per fight, 60% accuracy. Can't be too mad at that. Makes good positional improvements. He stays active. He's pretty good at stopping his opponents from getting up. So that's definitely something that I'm going to look from him, I should say, in this fight. Rani Yahya, he won his last fight. That was back in March. That was versus Ray Rodriguez. Grappling specialist, we know Rani Yahya is. He's a 2nd-degree black belt. He's a Muay Thai black belt as well. On the stand-up, he does have some kickboxing ability, has some pop, front kicks. Bit of an awkward stand-up style makes it a little bit hard to time him. He'll definitely pull guard if he needs to, definitely trusting his grappling from that perspective. And he will shoot for takedowns as well. Even if landing the takedown isn't his objective, he'll shoot for it to add that level of diversification to his game. And we see that he lands them, right? Almost 3 takedowns per fight, almost 34% accuracy. But I actually like Kyung Kang in the spot here. The reason I like him is because I think he will be the physically stronger fighter. I look at a significant reach advantage by 6 inches. I look at a decent height advantage by 3 inches. Again, I think he will be the physically stronger fighter here. So when he goes for his takedowns, minus the submission threat, of course, off of with Yahya off of his back, I think for the most part, Kang will be able to keep him on the ground, win that round, do it in the next round, and then kind of see where things go from there. Again, that height, that reach, I think will play a role on the feet. I think he's physically stronger in clinch situations, and I think that's ultimately going to be where he gets the job done. This fight is a pick'em, by the way, and I am picking Kang.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a really hard fight because Rani Yahya, we know he has some of the best jiu-jitsu that you'll see in the UFC, right? So it's really hard for me to really make a decision here on this fight. But I'm gonna go with Kang as well. I make it quick here. I don't want to really go into this. This is not a serious card. But what I like about Kang in this fight is that he has grappling. He has a lot of grappling knowledge. He grapples himself, but I think he's the better striker and he has the better cardio, and he's gonna be the bigger guy fight night. And as well, he's 34, and Rani Yahya has to be pushing. Well, he's just 36. I thought he was older. But Rani Yahya looks old, man, and he shows that after the first round, he really does get tired. This is a fight that Rani Yahya should get it to the mat, win in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised because he has that high level jiu-jitsu. So you could tell I'm not going to bet this fight. I wouldn't recommend betting it. But for the channel, I got to make a pick. And I'm going to go Kang here to do enough to keep it on the feet. If this gets to the second, third round, I really feel good with Kang at that point. So I'm going to go Kang. I'm going to roll the dice with the underdog here to get the win.
Moving on to our co-main event, we have two pretty good fights to finish off this card here. Co-main event, we have Michael Chiesa taking on Sean Brady. Of course, a welterweight showcase here. Michael Chiesa lost to Vicente Luque back in August. Southpaw on the feet. Stand-up looked a lot better going back to his Neil Magny fight. His movement looked improved in the Luque fight, but I would say it was a lot more running than effective movement. He did a lot of southpaw in that fight, although he can show some switch stance. And we know his MO. We know he has a really good ground game. We know he has tight top control. We know he has good positional improvements. We know he can keep his opponents down, good ground and pound, good submission attempts. He showed that against Vicente Luque. Luque was just really good at surviving it until, of course, he eventually pulled out the win in his own right. Obviously has a really good clinch as well. Sean Brady, on the other hand, he beat Jake Matthews back in March, undefeated fighter, 14-0, really well-rounded here. Good boxing, good kickboxing, good counterpuncher, really good timing, has a really good check left hook. He's a BJJ black belt, really good takedowns as well. We see he lands almost 3 per fight at 60% accuracy. Really good top position, good grappler, some good active ground and pound. This is a big step up in competition, in my opinion, for Sean Brady. But this was going to happen anyway, from the perspective of he's had 2 canceled fights versus Kevin Lee, one in July, one in August. So the step up in competition factor was going to happen anyway. Chiesa just happens to be the opponent for that. A difficult matchup to call in some ways. We know that Chiesa has that sort of X factor to him. Again, like I said, it is a step up in competition. Chiesa might just show that there's levels, but I don't think that'll happen. I think Brady has the better stand-up. I think Brady's wrestling might be as good as Chiesa's. And as mentioned, Brady is a BJJ black belt, so he has that legitimate ability on the ground to, at the very least, not be afraid of what Chiesa offers on the ground. I think this is something that can really propel Sean Brady into contention. Very tough matchup, of course, because Chiesa is always game. Chiesa is always dangerous. Again, he almost finished Vicente Luque. But I think this is a good matchup for Brady. I actually think this is a kind of a similar matchup that Vicente Luque was versus Chiesa. And for that reason, I like Sean Brady in this fight. Wouldn't be surprised if the fight goes the exact same way as the Luque fight did. Wouldn't be surprised if Chiesa is dangerous at moments in this fight. But I'm going with the person that I feel has the better stand-up and should be able to match Chiesa's ability on the ground. And that person is Sean Brady. I think he stays undefeated. I think this is a bit of a showcase for him. And I think this sort of propels him into legitimate contention.
Okay. Yeah, when I see Chiesa, man, I've been following this guy throughout his career, and one thing that he had going for him was that he's always much bigger than the fighters he's facing in the 155-pound division. So now that he's gone up to 170, he's still the bigger guy a lot of the time. He's gonna be the bigger guy fight night on Saturday, fight day Saturday. But Sean Brady, he has that body structure. He has strength as well. And he's not going to be able to have that size advantage that pretty much won him a lot of his previous fights. I think Sean Brady's ready for this. I think it's his time. I think he does enough to keep it on the feet. I think he would be the one to get the takedowns. And when it comes to striking, he's much better. I'm pretty sure Sean Brady crushes or smashes Michael Chiesa. So I'm going to go Sean Brady here to get the win.
Let's move on then to our main event of the evening. We have Ketlen Vieira taking on Miesha Tate. Ketlen Vieira, she lost to Yana Kunitskaya back in February. A bit of a herky-jerky style of stand-up. I think her jab could be a little bit better, but I do like how long it is. We see that she's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage in this fight, and I think she's going to use that. Her jab comes in from a distance, pretty predictable, but solid straight right hand as well. She is willing to stand, but we know her sort of preference is on the ground. Good takedowns. She has a black belt in judo. She has good grappling. She has a black belt in BJJ. She has solid ground and pound. A pretty solid overall fighter, although again, she is a fighter that could make some improvements on the feet. Miesha Tate, we saw her beat Marion Renault back in July. That was via round 3 ground and pound, so definitely very impressive way to win a fight there. Compared to who she was, her striking definitely looks improved to me. I still consider it more of a basic striker type of style, but she's a lot more effective with it. I think her timing is improved. I think her striking defense is significantly improved. We know that she was somebody who almost had no striking defense when in sort of her first run. But her strengths are still her strengths, right? Really good grappler, really good wrestler, has really good takedowns, good control on top, really good positioning as well. When I look at this fight, I think about when Ketlen Vieira was taken down in the Yana Kunitskaya fight. She couldn't get back up. She was more so trying to grapple off of her back rather than trying to get back up. I think that's going to be very important in this fight. That said, Ketlen Vieira was able to land takedowns in her own right in that fight and in the 3rd round as well. So it does show that takedown ability that Ketlen Vieira has throughout the entire fight. But simply put, I think Miesha Tate's wrestling might just be next level in this women's game. I think she'll definitely be the better wrestler of the two here. What's interesting is that both of these girls' strengths is on the ground, while Ketlen Vieira may be more dangerous on the feet with her power. I can't necessarily say she's better on the feet overall because I just don't think she's great on the feet. I think she can get a lot better. I think Miesha Tate will be the better wrestler, like I've mentioned here. And ultimately, I think this is a very winnable fight for Miesha Tate. And I actually think she will get the job done here. We know that she's very hungry to get put back into the title picture. We know that the UFC is trying to push her. She has a main event slot in a fight that has, or on a card that has Sean Brady versus Michael Chiesa on it. So she's hungry to get back into the title picture. The limelight is on her. She has the main event, and she has a beatable opponent in Ketlen Vieira. I think she will get the win here. I think she'll continue that momentum, and I think Miesha Tate can pull it out.
Yeah, I agree with you in a sense that UFC is definitely trying to push the Miesha Tate train here. But unfortunately, this train's gonna break down here against Ketlen Vieira. I'm going Ketlen Vieira to get this done. This Ketlen Vieira girl is gonna be the bigger girl in the ring. If Miesha Tate thinks she's gonna go in there and just take her down every second, she has another thing coming. And Ketlen Vieira is high level black belt. Remember what she did to Sarah McCann, a really good wrestler, when they fought. So we know that Ketlen Vieira has the better jiu-jitsu. Miesha will have the takedowns. But I'm not sure that Miesha is the overall better grappler in this fight. I think Ketlen Vieira has more power. Ketlen Vieira got robbed in her last fight versus Kuniskaya. It was one of the worst robberies of the year. Check out MMA decisions. Everyone said Ketlen won that 29-28, except for the three blind judges, right? So I think this is Ketlen's fight here. Sijara Eubanks, Sarah McCann, they all want to do that takedown stuff on her, and she had something for them waiting. The only thing I'm worried about with Ketlen Vieira in this fight is the cardio, and Miesha Tate has gone 4 or 5 rounds when she was younger, so it's a tough fight in that sense. That this is a 5-round fight. If it was a 3-round fight, I would say this is a lock, Ketlen Vieira. But the 5 rounds gives Miesha Tate that the extra 2 rounds where she's still gonna have the cardio. But I think Ketlen's gonna dictate the fight, so she's not gonna waste her cardio here. And if not finish her early on, I think she's gonna get a decision here. And I'm gonna go Ketlen Vieira here to get the win here. I think she's too big. I think she gets the win.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that analysis at all. Let's definitely see what happens in that main event. And in the meantime, let's take it to Vegas. Let's consider the main card here. And let's start with an underdog pick. Who are you thinking has the best shot at winning?
Okay, on the main event, is Rani Yahya an underdog?
Rani Yahya, I'm gonna call him an underdog because that is a pick'em. Ketlen Vieira is also a pick'em, so you get sort of either option there.
Okay, actually, I like the Ketlen Vieira more, so I'm gonna go Ketlen Vieira as the underdog.
Sounds good. And to that point, my underdog pick is also going to be one of the pick'em fights, and I'm going on the side of Kang. That's going to be my underdog pick there again. That's a pick'em, so we'll count that as an underdog. And in terms of sort of which couple of fights you're looking at on a favorite type of picks, which one are you considering parlaying together? Who are you looking at there?
All right, the main card, let me go Taila Santos, and I'm going to roll with Sean Brady.
So we have Sean Brady, and we have Taila Santos. Those two would be a plus 111. $100 will return $211. For our bigger bettors, $250 will return $528. In terms of my favorite ticket, although I can definitely agree with liking both of those, I'm going to drop Sean Brady out of that. I'm still going to include Taila Santos, but I am going to put, let's see here, I'm going to put Adrian Yanez on there instead. That's going to be a little bit less than a double up, minus 124. $100 will return 182. For our bigger bettors, $150 will return 455. So let's officially sign off there. This, of course, has been, well, before I let you know what it has been, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the thumbs up, and again, participate in the comments. We want to hear from you, how you feel about our underdogs, how you feel about our favorite picks, what are your favorite picks, and if there's a specific parlay or a specific prop or a specific event that you're considering for this card, let it be known in the comments below, and we'll be more than happy to give you some additional insight on that. So let's officially sign off. This has been UFC Vegas 43, aka UFC Fight Night. Ketlen Vieira versus Miesha Tate, the main card prediction video. He goes by the name of sorry, I said Jan. He goes by the name of Zan. I go by the name of Harris. And as usual, let's get this money.
Let's do it.